Simple Sizing in Crane Operations Explained. Hi everyone, we are from FDP Consulting. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most practical concepts in ground engineering for cranes, something Keith Anderson, PE from Bechtel, calls simple sizing. It's a small paragraph in his book, Ground Engineering, Principles and Practices for Cranes, but it carries a big idea. To keep things simple, you may decide for your fleet of outrigger-based cranes that, knowing the ground capacity and the maximum loadings each crane could put down, each crane must always use a particular size mat. That would guarantee keeping within the permissibles at all times and avoid having to recalculate every time. So let's unpack what that really means. Segment 1. The problem: ground pressure. When a crane lifts a load, all that weight, the crane itself and the load, pushes down onto the ground through the outriggers. Those 4 outrigger pads are like the crane's feet. Now, the soil underneath can only take a certain amount of pressure before it starts to deform or fail. That limit is called the ground-bearing capacity. If the pressure from the crane exceeds that capacity, you can get settlement, tilting, or in the worst case, a crane overturning. That's why engineers calculate mat sizes, those big steel or timber pads placed under the outriggers, to spread the load and keep the pressure below the safe limit. But here's the catch. If you do this calculation every single time for every lift, it can become tedious and prone to human error. Segment 2. The idea: simple sizing. Keith Anderson's concept of simple sizing is all about standardization and operational simplicity. Instead of recalculating every time, he suggests identify the maximum outrigger load each crane in your fleet could ever produce, know the typical ground capacity for the areas where you usually operate, and choose a mat size that ensures you'll always stay within safe limits for that combination. Once you've done that, you can assign a fixed mat size for each crane model. That means every time that crane goes to work, it uses the same mats. No recalculation, no confusion, just consistency and safety. Segment 3. Example. Let's say your crane can put down a maximum outrigger load of 200 kilonewtons, and your site's typical soil has a ground-bearing capacity of 50 kilopascals. To find the mat area, you divide the load by the capacity. 200 divided by 50 equals 4 square meters. So for that crane, you could assign a 4 square meter mat as standard. Every time that crane goes out, you know it's covered. You're staying within the permissible limit, and you're simplifying the operator's job. Segment 4. Why it works. This simple sizing approach works because it focuses on safety through consistency, efficiency through standardization, and error reduction through simplification. It's especially helpful when you manage a fleet of cranes and multiple job sites because it keeps everyone aligned. However, it assumes that your ground conditions are relatively similar from site to site, and that your selected mat size is conservative enough to handle normal variations. So, in short, simple sizing doesn't mean avoiding engineering. It means applying engineering once, carefully, and then using it intelligently every time. It's a mindset that combines safety, practicality, and consistency. And that's exactly what good lifting operations are built on. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on safe lifting operations and engineering management. We're from FDP Consulting. See you in the next video.